Please do take a seat. A very, very good afternoon to you all. What a lovely day it is for our graduations. Friends, my name's Fee Idden, and until very recently I had the privilege of being chaplain to University Centre Shrewsbury, and it's my joy to welcome you to St Chad's Church as we celebrate your graduation from the University of Chester. Today is a really special and long-awaited day. For those of you who are graduating and receiving awards, this ceremony is our opportunity to acknowledge all that you have achieved. It's also a really important occasion for your family and friends who are gathered here today. They've no doubt cheered you on through your studies, through some late-night essay crises, and are now thrilled to celebrate with you. And it's a great day here for us too at the University Centre Shrewsbury as we welcome you back. It's really wonderful to see you as we honour and reward all the hard work that you've done. We are so glad that you have been part of our very special community here. We have a special achievement to celebrate in this service with our student Teresa Boateng being awarded her professional doctorate in public health. Congratulations to Teresa. And as well as focusing in our graduations on those who've studied with us, we also look outwards, and by the conferring of honorary degrees, we acknowledge the contribution to society of those beyond the university. And I couldn't be more delighted to welcome Alison Thomas and Catherine Anderson. Thank you for being here. Today feels very much like the end of an era for some of us as we finish our studies, and it feels like the end of an era for us at University Centre Shrewsbury too. And we want to say thank you to each one of you for being part of the journey with us. It's been a really special journey. On days like today, I'm often reminded of the prayer of United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld, who says this: "For all that has been, thanks. For all that is to be, yes. For all that has been, thanks. For all that is to be, yes." So as you embark on the next stage of your journey, whether as student or staff, may you look back with gratitude and forward with hope. And as we look back with gratitude, we think too of the 6 founders of what we now know as the University of Chester. And so at the start of our time together, I'm going to read the Founders' Collect, or special prayer, which is traditional at the start of all university graduation services. So let's pray. O God, our Father, the source of light and wisdom, we give you thanks for the vision which inspired our founders and for the grace which enabled their successors to fulfill their aims. We pray you to maintain that vision among us and to give us faith to know that our labour is not in vain, hope to encourage us in all our difficulties, and love to unite us in the service of all your people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Permissum vicis in eo, I declare open this congregation for the presentation of degrees and awards.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor Eunice Simmons, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Chester, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all. It's wonderful to stand in front of you today and to congratulate you personally for concluding your studies. As many of you will be aware, our university strategy centres around the concept of the citizen student, giving you a personalised and purposeful time with us, and ensuring that you're able to make an impact on your communities and become world-ready. I'd like to share some examples of what you, our new graduates, and indeed some recent graduates in your disciplines, have achieved over the last year. Psychology students are using their skills in positions such as hospital-based recovery workers and as school-based assistant psychologists. Others are undertaking postgraduate study in specialist areas such as sport and exercise psychology, or integrative counselling and psychotherapy. In the medical sciences, one of you is starting a fully funded PhD at the University of Durham. Others of you have secured employment working in laboratories within industry and the NHS. Out of the 21 MSc Biotech students, 10 have now started PhDs in institutions including the University of Georgia, Pennsylvania, and in New Zealand. And one of you has recently started work as a communications manager at the UK Health Security Agency. Of the 20 adult nursing students who are graduating here today, 16 of you are working in Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin. This includes in A&E, theatres and medical and surgical wards at Shrewsbury and Telford hospitals, but also at the Midland Centre for Spinal Injuries, on surgical wards, theatre and recovery at Robert Jones and Agnes Hunt, in nursing homes, in community nursing, providing invaluable care in patients' own homes across the county, but also at Bishop's Castle Hospital, which has recently reopened following a Save Our Beds campaign, reversing a 2-year closure. Now, several of these jobs were secured over the last 2 years in Shrewsbury and Telford hospitals, with students being awarded golden tickets because they have displayed excellent patient care and professionalism whilst on clinical placement, which ensured them of interviews and progression into employment. Other students in this cohort are waiting on or have secured jobs across the county, including into our neighbouring Welsh counties. The business, events and sport management team at UCS has always fostered a very strong sense of community within the university, while collaborating closely with numerous businesses across this region. We've been fortunate to partner with such supportive organisations, helping guide our students throughout their academic and professional journeys. And these partnerships have provided opportunities for student engagement through work placements ranging from 1 week to 12 months, mentoring from experienced business owners, guest lectures, and the sharing of professional expertise. Our students have also supported various local charities, fundraising and volunteering to help people within the local community. And today we're joined by some students who began their academic journey in Chester, progressed to Shrewsbury to complete their degrees, or vice versa. Others have come from diverse educational backgrounds, joining us at various stages of each programme. But all have successfully achieved their degrees and are starting their journey in an exciting and diverse range of careers. Our students and alumni have accomplished significant milestones, including founding successful businesses, working for iconic British companies like McLaren Racing and Bentley Motors UK. Some have secured jobs through work placements during their studies, while other students have built strong connections with local businesses, and others have become very international in their outlook. Many have pursued diverse roles across the globe, becoming marketeers, accountants, graduate sales managers, trainee teachers, sports coaches, project managers, HR specialists, and event and venue managers. We are incredibly proud of our students' achievements and their abilities to make an immediate contribution to the organisations they join. We have musical theatre students here today, and as part of their degree, they were instrumental in the developing of new work over the past 2 years. They workshopped a new children's musical entitled Fred the Musical, to give a group of reception children from Shropshire their very first theatrical experience, and developed the show to allow it to have its professional debut at the Liverpool Theatre Festival. They also debuted the show Unseen at the Walker Theatre in Theatre 7, a brand new show that gives voice to the lived experiences of immigrants in the UK. So look around you at your cohort. See how many people from different backgrounds have flourished alongside you. Keep this picture in your memories so you can recall what is possible when you work hard and put your mind to something. You've all achieved so much. You're no longer a student, but will soon be a proud graduate. And I'd like to conclude with some heartfelt thank yous. Firstly, to the academics who've taught you and opened up your minds, enabling you to achieve your best. To our outstanding professional services staff, who've supported you in so many ways, some of which you may not even be aware of. To our Chair of Governors, who's here today, and to our governors who help guide this institution, and to everyone here who's made the ceremony such an occasion. To the people closest to you, who encouraged you during your studies, but mostly to those of you graduating today for choosing University Centre Shrewsbury and for your commitment throughout your studies. Today, in the wonderful setting of St. Chad's, we want to give you an event you will remember forever, and I look forward to shaking your hands and congratulating you individually. You all deserve a huge round of applause. Well done.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Professor Paul Johnson and I'm Deputy Provost at the University of Chester. Before I begin the important task of presenting you with your degrees and awards, I'd like to say a few words about University Centre Shrewsbury and our collaborations. University Centre Shrewsbury is a partnership between the University of Chester and Shropshire Council, and it had its first graduating cohort in 2018. So it's both a very new institution and also one that can trace its roots back to 1839, when the college that would become the University of Chester was founded. We have brought undergraduate, postgraduate and apprenticeship students to Shrewsbury from across Shropshire, from all parts of the UK and from around the world. We have had over 1,000 graduating students, and each one of you will now add to that number. I would like to thank some of the partners that are attending graduation today and who have helped us to give opportunities to our students. Shropshire Council instigated the UCS project and Tim Smith has been instrumental in that partnership, and he was able to join us this morning. The Walker Trust helped equip our laboratories and has supported our Shropshire-based students with bursaries. And we were pleased that Deputy Lord Lieutenant John Crackett, who is chair of the Walker Trust, was able to also join us this morning. Shrewsbury College's group has been another key partner, particularly with the progression route through to our adult nursing degree. And we were able to welcome Michelle Dawes, Director of Higher Education at the college's group. We have also worked closely with Harper Adams University through CREST, our Centre for Research into Environmental Sciences and Technology, and we will continue to do so with the delivery of courses in Harper Adams' new quad building at Station Quarter in Telford. I'm very glad to welcome Dr. Simone Clark, Pro-Vice-Chancellor at Harper Adams. For social work, we have worked very closely with both Shropshire and Telford and Wrekin social work teams, as well as closely involving people with lived experience of social work in the programmes. And we're pleased that Sian Dean, Jane Phillips, Vicky Croft, Karen Mosdale and Stella Pugh are able to join us here. As well as those partners who've been able to join us today, there have been many other organisations and individuals who've contributed so much to what we and you have achieved. This includes the Morris Group, who provided both bursary support and work experience opportunities for business students, healthcare providers who've worked so closely with us to provide placements for our students, community groups and charities across the county, the Church's Conservation Trust, where students have collaborated on a stained glass project, schools right across the county, and the Shrewsbury Sports Village, where our education students will complete their degrees. I am extremely proud of our students, our partners, our staff, and the contribution that our students have made and that our graduates will go on to make. You who are graduating today have not only completed your studies, but you've also made outstanding contributions to community, whether that be through supporting your fellow students, making an impact through academic research, or through volunteering your time and talents. I am extremely proud of you. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you this graduand for admission to the degree of Master of Science in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit this graduand to the degree of Master of Science of the University of Chester.
Thomas Rolls. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you these graduands for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Bachelor of Arts of the University of Chester.
Christopher Fernandez. Lana Scott. Rebecca Simpson. Aaliyah Young. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you this graduand for admission to the degree of Doctor of Public Health in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit this graduand to the degree of Doctor of Public Health of the University of Chester.
For a programme of study entitled Exploration of Pregnant Women's Lived Experiences with Malaria, an Interpretive Phenomenological Study, Teresa Boatang.
Graduates who persevered and kept going with what they needed to do. And I think Dr. Teresa Boateng, as we can now address you, epitomizes all the best at University Centre Shrewsbury. Congratulations once again, Dr. Boateng.
Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you these graduands for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Bachelor of Arts of the University of Chester.
Samantha Bowen. Alison Clark. Rachel Cox. Vanessa Gascon-Diaz. Beth Hoyle. Mandy James. Rosie Morris. Ian Rock. Gillian Tildesley. Vice-Chancellor, In the name of the Senate, I present to you these graduates for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Nursing in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit
Monica Cucurinu. Rebecca Davis. Anne-Marie Edwards. Georgina Evans. Rianne Evans. Donna Fletcher. Melanie Funnell. Emily German. Megan Johnson. Bethann Jones. Dion Knight. Jade Lanchester Kenny. Katie O'Reilly. Ella Paddock. Eloise Snedden. Ebony Thomas. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you these graduands for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Science in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Bachelor of Science of the University of Chester.
Zara Aref. Cameron Coombs. Catherine Cox. Keenan Gill. James Griffith. Benjamin Groom. Chloe Harrison. Jessica Johnson. Liam McDonough. Rachel Morgan. Elora Morris. Luna Mundele Nsona. Gabriella Picula. Sam Pritchard. Tamara Sims. Zachary Studer. Zen Tanaka. Nuria Vajalba Bielsa. Julie Vinters. Brianna Voss. Grace Whiston. Emily Young. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you this graduand for admission to the degree of Master of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit this graduand to the degree of Master of Arts of the University of Chester.
Joanne Kilcoyne. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you this graduand for admission to the degree of Master of Science in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit this graduand to the degree of Master of Science of the University of Chester.
Joshua Opayemi Oleayu. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you these graduands for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Bachelor of Arts of the University of Chester.
Sarah Birkenhead. Jessica Hitchin. Ellis Jones. Carla Jones Lawrence. Daisy Lloyd Evans. Neve Ogilvie. Morgan Phillips. Jamie Pulido Gutierrez. Imogen Stitchen. Claudius Trebuniak. Henry Winfield. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present to you this graduand for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Science in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit this graduand to the degree of Bachelor of Science of the University of Chester.
Lewis Hope. Vice-Chancellor, I make application to you to present the degrees and awards listed to those candidates at the University of Chester who have not been presented in person, but whose names appear in the programme and who have indicated that they wish their degrees to be presented in their absence. I certify that they are worthy to receive those degrees and awards, and I stand as proxy for them.
I admit them to those degrees and present those awards, and I accept you as proxy. I now call on the public orator to present the Honorary Graduands, Catherine Anderson and Alison Jane Thomas, for admission to their degrees.
Chancellor, honoured guests and students, today we are privileged to welcome two extraordinary women who have made significant contributions to environmental sustainability and community welfare in Shrewsbury. Both Katie and Ali have journeyed through diverse life experiences, eventually settling in this beautiful town of Shrewsbury, where they've become leading voices in the fight against food waste. Katie was born in Hong Kong, where her father served in the military and her mother worked as a doctor. Her upbringing was a global one. She lived in several countries, including Singapore and Germany. After years of moving, her family finally settled in Dorset in a small village of around 40 people, where Katie spent many of her teenage years. Reflecting on this time, she considers herself very fortunate to have had such a wonderful childhood in a world full of possibilities. During her school years, Katie developed a strong interest in environmental issues, an interest further fueled by a visit to the Centre for Alternative Technologies, we all know CAT, in Wales. It was there that she became more interested in the environment, and Rachel Carson's Silent Spring became a seminal influence in her life. When considering university, Katie chose to study geography at King's College London, despite her mother's reservations, who asked, "What are you going to do with a geography degree, and how will you make a living?" After completing her geography degree, Katie pursued a master's in land resource management at Cranfield University's Silsoe campus. The programme was a transformative experience, as it brought together students from all over the world, many on British Council scholarships. Her thesis took her to Kenya, where she worked with a consultancy and did aerial mapping. The fieldwork was both surreal and daunting as she landed on a remote strip in Kenya, unannounced, and was greeted with a mixture of curiosity and warmth by the local community, where she undertook her master's research in soil erosion. Upon returning to the UK, Katie attended a university job fair, where she received 2 job offers, one from Exxon and the other from Cadbury's. Opting to work for the oil industry, perhaps influenced by watching too much Dallas in the 80s, she realised she couldn't continue in that line of work and instead decided to pursue a PhD at Imperial College in pollution control. Her doctoral studies were sponsored by Aspinwall, an environmental consultancy based here in Shrewsbury, and after completing her PhD, Katie worked with them as an environmental consultant. After a decade of consulting, she transitioned to work for Honorary in Wales, an organisation dedicated to promoting sustainable lifestyles. Here she became involved in community engagement projects, including a unique waste initiative in Prestine, where a milk flake was used for recycling and which achieved the best recycling rates in the country at this time. It was at this time that Katie met Ali. Ali was born in Liverpool, where her father was completing a PhD, and shortly after her birth, the family moved to Chicago. They travelled to the US aboard the RMS Queen Mary, where Ali's grandfather had been the captain. The voyage was super for her parents, as Ali was sent off in one direction to the nursery for the duration of the journey, and her parents relaxed in the comfort on the Queen Mary. After a stint in the US, her family returned to the UK, settling briefly back in Liverpool before moving to the Gower, where her father took a lecturing position at Swansea University. When Ali was 8, they relocated to Cambridgeshire, where her mother promised less rain than in Wales. At 18, Ali announced her intention to study environmental science at university. Much to her father's concern, he wondered how she would find a proper job with such a degree. Much like Katie's experience, Ali enrolled at Aberystwyth University, back to the rain that she left as a child. This was only one of 5 institutions in the country at this time offering environmental science as a degree. The programme offered a wealth of fieldwork opportunities, and Ali fondly recalls spending days identifying mosses and lichens in the hills, although never took off her cagoule for the duration of her studies. Upon graduation, a friend suggested that Ali pursue a master's in land resource management at Cranfield University. Still so, just like Katie had done. She was told, they'll send you to Africa, where she undertook her MSc research, and off she went. Ali ended up working in Kenya on water projects, and it remains one of the most fulfilling experiences of her life. Upon returning to the UK, she worked with the Stockholm Environment Institute at the University of York. In between times, she also helped a friend on Cromer Pier, learning to make cream teas during the summer, before returning to the Stockholm Environment Institute at the University of York after her master's, where she worked alongside Professor Chadwick. And for those who know Professor Chadwick, he's an absolute legend. He contributed to critical research on atmospheric pollution and acid rain. The Institute was the first globally to work on abatement strategies for emissions to the atmosphere, and Ali was involved in this work with Professor Chadwick. Ali then spent several years working for other international organisations until she got a post at a processing engineering consultancy in Swindon. Here she worked on industrial waste compliance, which was hands-on, whilst Katie was working on waste policy and applications. Ali then decided to move to Honduras in Central America with her husband. This was a real window of opportunity. She landed a job with the World Bank, who said at the time the country needed some form of environmental auditing, environmental impacts and environmental legislation. Ali was the only person in the country at the time who could do this work at the ripe old age of 27. Here she shot to stardom as the only environmental scientist in the country who could write environmental impact assessments. She lived in Central America for a few years and then came back to the UK, where she started a family. Later, Ali told me she remembers one day sitting at her desk back in the UK, translating environmental legislation for a gold mining company in Ecuador from Spanish to English, and thinking there has got to be more in life than this. Around this time, she realised she needed to work with people and worked in a nursery school and with a sustainability education charity, Bridges. Katie contacted her with an opportunity to collaborate on waste management at Honorary in Wales. It was a serendipitous moment, a sliding doors moment, as they realised they shared similar passions, degrees from the same university, and had undertaken research in Kenya. At the time, while Katie worked in Prestine, Ali built a zero-waste events business, which ensured that almost everything was recycled. And I won't mention the bin diet, because I think you may mention that. In 2015, they co-created a bid with Shrewsbury Town Council and Shrewsbury residents for £1 million of funding from Sainsbury's to promote food waste here in the town. The discussions on how to tackle food waste took place at UCS in the main hall, focusing on how they could encourage domestic waste reduction in the county. Although they came second and they didn't get any funding, they decided to set up what we now know as Shrewsbury Food Hub. And as a pair of action researchers, they knew this was absolutely the right thing to do. They both said, you don't wait for it to be perfect, you just get on with it, try things, and learn by experience. And that's how the Shrewsbury Food Hub started. They launched the hub here in 2016 to collect leftover food from retailers to stop it going to waste. Marks and Spencer's were the first company to donate food, and the hub ran from their depot car park for the first 6 months, moving into a community hall in the nick of time as the winter rain started. They started small with a few volunteers, a couple of days a week, and now they have over 150 volunteers, 40 suppliers, and operate 7 days per week, 365 days a year. Both Ali and Katie are credible voices in the food waste arena. They work really hard every day with a network of 65 community groups from schools, playgroups, youth groups and mental health services, including 12 food shares at churches and community centres where everyone is welcome to collect a bag of food to help stop waste and also to stretch budgets. What is important about the Food Hub is you're supporting community groups to bring people together over food and helping the environment by stopping waste. One example of bringing groups together is the Shrewsbury Men Sheds. Some of you in here may be part of that. Jimmy is one of those characters at the Shrewsbury Men Sheds. He's 90 years old. He likes cooking and decided he was going to do one pot Wednesdays at the sheds. He comes to the hub depot to get the ingredients and cooks and serves the food at the men's sheds where they all sit down together as a community. He also volunteers at one of the food shares and takes excess food back to his sheltered home and cooks for them. Katie says this lovely network of kindness is something we see all the time. They both said it's an absolute privilege working in the community and getting to know people who are working in organisations and groups. She mentioned these groups used to operate in silos, but now there's an annual general feast rather than an annual general meeting. And that brings together all these different organisations so they can talk to each other about new ideas and what to do next. Ali said the hub goes a lot further than just feeding people. Those connections made between organisations and volunteers are powerful and lead to other opportunities. And just to give you an idea of people that volunteer, they have people who are into social justice, who might just want to come and do something useful. They have desperately lonely people, people who are grieving and bereaved, all who want to make connections and to be part of the community. Turning very briefly to COVID, whilst most organisations were shutting down, the hub increased operating from 5 to 7 days. Although all the community groups were not running, Ali and Katie set up food shares where they had a table and a van. They'd pop up in a car park next to where the community groups had been operating, building a network of food shares around the town of Shrewsbury. They did this all through COVID, and as we came out of COVID, they persuaded their previous partners and groups to get back on board, as well as the new food shares, and wondered why the food didn't stretch quite as far as it had previously, as they had increased their range considerably during COVID. What is important about all they do is the power of food. Katie says it brings people together, as mentioned above, with One Pot Wednesdays, and another charity which makes soup and provides a roll from the hub's food. The result is that people stop and chat whilst eating. One of the aims of the Food Hub is to remove the stigma of coming to get free food and more about stopping food from going to waste, which is absolutely their mantra. Shrewsbury Food Hub isn't the answer to food poverty. It's about helping people's budgets stretch further and, most importantly, stopping food waste. Some people even pop in before they go to the shops. And finally, the work that Katie, Ali and all their wonderful volunteers did last year saved a massive 217 tonnes of food going to waste. That's worth £1 million. This is enough, or I should say equates to 518,000 meals, saving a carbon dioxide equivalent of not driving 87 times around the world. The Hub also has the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service and now the King's Award for Voluntary Service. Their work exemplifies the power of grassroots action and collaboration, showing that small, committed efforts can lead to significant social and environmental impact. As we celebrate the achievements of our graduates today, we are reminded that the journey to making a difference often begins with a single step, as you all have done. Whether that's pursuing a degree in an unconventional field, like Ali and Katie at the time, or taking a stand for sustainability. Katie and Ali have demonstrated that passion, persistence, and partnership can create lasting change, as can you here today. In the name of the Senate and of the Council, it is with great pleasure that I present to you Katie Anderson and Ali Thomas for admission to the degree of MSc Honoris Causa in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit you to the degrees of Master of Science, Honoris Causa of the University of Chester. Great pleasure to invite Katie and Ali to address the congregation.
Thank you very much. Well, what an honour it is to be standing here on your day. You know, congratulations everybody. What an incredible, I thought that was lovely. It was just a lovely graduation ceremony. We're truly humbled to have been awarded this Honorary Masters in recognition of our work with setting up Shrewsbury Food Hub. It really was quite a shock. And as Juliana mentioned, that both Katie and I have been very lucky enough to have worked in other parts of the world. Katie wandered off in West Africa for a bit, and I was in Kenya for a bit, and worked in Honduras and Central America many, many, many moons ago. But you know what? We found out that it's when you find your feet in your own community that you actually become a bit useful. Not really very useful wandering about in other people's countries. You can be very useful in your own. You can actually start to contribute here, be a useful citizen, and hopefully make a difference.
I'd just like to add that it's been lovely being here with you today, celebrating your graduation, and congratulations. Looking around, I can see that you are people who have already achieved so much and will go on to make such a difference. But we've been food waste nerds for a long time now. And some of our friends that we have been talking, they say we've been talking rubbish for far too long. But understanding that there was so much food waste, so much good food ending up in the bin because of the problems in our food system, drove us crazy. We couldn't understand why we're in a country where 30% of the food that's produced ends up in the bin. It's insane. So we decided we'd do something here locally, something really small that we'd start up. We knew that there was leftover food in every store, in every food business right across the town. And so we thought we'd do something about it and try and get that food eaten. We set up the food hub so that we could collect that food and then get it through to people who could eat it, match the random cabbages, apples, bread, donuts, fish, whatever it is that comes in that day to people who can use it, and help this network of 65 community groups in our town. As Juliana explained, we started really small. I remember so clearly the day that Ali said to me, "Oh, Marks and Spencer's have said they'll run a trial with us." And my first question was, well, how long for? I was like, I don't know. So 8 years on, it's still going, really. So thanks, Ali.
And as Juliana said, last year we rescued 217 tonnes of food. It's hard to imagine what that looks like. It's over 500,000 meals, and that comes from farmers, from manufacturers, and from supermarkets. There's all sorts of reasons why food is sort of, is perfectly good to eat but can't be sold. And we kind of have built, well, mainly Katie. Katie built fantastic relationships with our suppliers, which then meant they trusted us to use the food properly. And as Juliana said, the value of that food was £1.1 million. So our community would have to find another £1.1 million to stand still, just to stay where it is. And we think it's worth doing, because why wouldn't you take a tray of vegetables, perfectly good vegetables, take them to the hospice, they don't have to buy them, and they can spend the money on something more useful like a nurse. We think it's a useful thing to do. We do this with a tiny paid staff. We've got about, well, they are tiny, literally, Tammy's tiny. a tiny paid staff and an army of brilliant volunteers. We always say that the volunteers are the lifeblood of the organisation. No food would move if we didn't have any volunteers. So they are really the, without them, nothing would happen. And we're an environmental charity first and foremost, but one that happens to be able to do something quite useful in our community. And so this award is for all of those wonderful volunteers who get up every morning and collect food and deliver food, for all those volunteers who come and help us in the depot to sort and triage food, and for all those people who are happy to eat food past its best before date. and they come and help us get that good food eaten and not wasted. The Food Hub is a really happy place to be. Please come and see us if you want to. If you've got a bit of spare time now that you've graduated, come and see us at the Food Hub. We find that doing something positive that's really helping the planet and our community helps us bear up to the harsh reality of our climate crisis and biodiversity collapse. There's nothing, at times it can feel really overwhelming and pointless, but there's nothing like juggling baguettes and carrots at 7 a.m. to make you feel a bit better. So our advice as old ladies, a bit long in the tooth in this old sustainability fight, is get involved in stuff where you live. Be the change that you want to see in your world. Model it in your street, in your pub, or in your town.
And don't be scared to fail. We've had lots of ideas that just didn't work out. But they've always been fun. We've made friends, we've learnt a lot on the way, and we've learnt how to make stuff work. But we've only done that because we've made so many mistakes. And start small. Look at life as an action research project. Try stuff out. See if it works. If it doesn't, try something different. But enjoy that learning process, because it can be really good fun. And most importantly, please make sure you eat food, even when it's past its best before date. And thank you so much.
I now invite Monica Cucciaranu and Imogen Stitchen, graduates of the class of 2024, to address the congregation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Imogen, and I had the privilege of studying business management at the wonderful UCS.
And I'm Monica, graduating today with a nursing degree. What a beautiful day it is. Today marks a vital moment in our lives. As I stand here, I am overwhelmed with memories and emotions. Our journey through these past years has been nothing but remarkable. I am grateful to stand here with you today because I know that during these 3 years, some of us had to raise little humans, others had full-time jobs, some experienced grief, or have been miles away from home and the comfort of a family. It's not always been easy, but through our struggles, we shined and we made it.
From the moment I stepped onto campus, there was an incredible sense of community. There was never a day that went past where I wasn't asked how I was, and everyone seemed to know each other's names. This helped us feel truly encouraged. Coming to university after a big gap in studying and also being disencouraged in school was a big leap of faith for me. But with the help of the university, the lecturers and all departments, I not only gained confidence in my academic skills, but I also dared to pursue my passion and start my own yoga and movement therapy business. The business lecturers, the industry stories and the practical knowledge I gained here were invaluable. Without this, I would not have stepped into owning my own business. There was never a week where went past that I wasn't asked how things were going in my degree or in my business. This helped me feel truly supported.
In the name of all graduates, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our teachers and university staff. You were our guiding light. You might not know, but you all said one word or gave us a tap on the shoulder when we needed it the most, and that kept us afloat. To our families, thank you for allowing us and encouraging us to follow our dream. I want us to look around and see the village that got us here. And I want to ask the people that had a ticket to this ceremony today to continue being part of that village, because now we need it the most.
I'd like to thank the librarians who also always helped us find those elusive books, and to the Arts department that helped us make sense of all that data, and to the uni job department as well. And of course to our lecturers who always kept us going. As one of our lecturers often said, aim for excellence. Another one would remind us that okay was not a word. Vince Lombardi once said that perfection was not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we will catch excellence.
Today is also about embracing the future. There are infinite possibilities that lie ahead of us. So my fellow students, as we say farewell to this chapter and step into the unknown, in the words of Florence Nightingale, founder of modern nursing, let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all our lives. May our path be filled with courage, blessing, and fulfillment.
Congratulations to the class of 24. We've done it. Let's celebrate our collective and individual achievements, and let's continue to thrive in our individual paths.
Thank you, Monica, Imogen, Alison and Catherine for sharing such wise words with us and things and messages we can take away with us today. You've shown that vision, passion, determination and resilience are such important attributes and they lead to our success going through life. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Meredith David, Pro-Chancellor and President of the University Council at the University of Chester. As your long-awaited graduation ceremony draws to a close, we hope it has been memorable for you and for those who have been alongside you throughout your studies, not just today. Whether this was your first degree straight from school, or you've already had a career and decided to take some time to reskill or to take a break from the world of work to study and research a passion, whether you are full-time, part-time, or an apprentice, we are here with you and for you on the next stage of your journey. Our careers and employability team can help you navigate finding a first, second, or even third job and beyond. Perhaps you are an entrepreneur looking to pursue your own enterprise and new business, in which case we can also provide business startup advice. Please keep in touch and make use of us. Stay connected to our university via our alumni relations team. Staying in touch with us and your fellow alumni, incredibly important and beneficial. Within that extensive network could be your next employer, mentor, or client. Today, you are celebrating being part of a community that is over 100,000 strong, living and working in 135 countries. Your program has more details about the value of this free lifelong link. Look out too for graduate shout-out landing in your inbox every month. That will maintain your link with your friends and colleagues and the university. Just as you have exercised your student voice during your study with us, we hope you will continue to use your graduate voice through the Graduate Outcome Survey. By doing so, you will benefit your current and future professions, as well as existing and future students who are on the same journey as you. This is a national questionnaire, and you are contacted by our survey partners 5 months after you've completed your studies. Your voice really does matter. If you have already completed this, we thank you for your participation. This is only the beginning of your next chapter. We wish you success and fulfillment wherever your next steps may take you. We have been making history as an institution since the 1800s, and we are privileged to have your contributions and achievements as students to be part of our story, just as we are a part of yours. So for those of us here celebrating in this beautiful setting, and to those watching online around the world, thank you and goodbye for now. But for you, our newest alumni, a massive congratulations once again. You will always be part of the University of Chester, and the University of Chester will always be part of you. I would also like to finish off by giving a huge thank you to the local authority and our many partners in Shrewsbury and around Shropshire that have contributed to the University Centre at Shrewsbury. And this has had such a positive impact on our students and your studies. So thank you. And finally, a big thank you to Debbie and her team for delivering such a fantastic award ceremony again today at St. Chad's. And it's no surprise because those of us who know Debbie and the team always do a fantastic job. So well done and thank you, Debbie. Thank you all and a safe journey home.
I declare closed this congregation for the presentation of degrees and awards. Salva sit universitas nostra, quod precantus consagamus.